Hey everyone. So for today's movie review, I'm going to talk about the film Oblivion. It is a film by Joseph Kosinski, who was known for making Tron Legacy. He directed that one. Um, I'm going to try to make the plot synopsis of this film very brief, as there might be some potential spoilers. It's a very hard film to discuss without spoiling things, so like I said, I'm going to make sure to make it brief. But I'll make sure to inform you of all the positives and negative thoughts I have about the film. So let's jump in here. So Oblivion, you guys, basically it's a film where Tom Cruise plays a guy named Jack Harper. He's a guy who's assigned to clean up Earth. Um, he basically has to go down onto Earth with this ship every day and find water, find valuables, find things that people can use up in this station up on Earth, up in space. I meant to say, where people live after this war that went on. Almost everything is destroyed, and basically, like I said, he has to bring all this stuff up there so they can use it just like they would if they were still living on Earth. Um, so basically, after a while, he eventually meets up with these people that kind of still live on Earth. And don't worry, this is all in the trailer. And like I said, this is going to be a spoiler-free discussion. And basically, these people, basically, if you've seen the trailer, it's basically like Morgan Freeman and Olga Kurylenko and all the people who are living on the land still. He finds out that the people he works for are lying to him, and that he's basically not who he thinks he is, and that there's more than there's a reason why Jack was assigned to cleaning up all Earth and getting all these things, and he meets up with a woman that has a huge significance in his life, and Morgan Freeman is kind of this resistance leader of the people who are still living on Earth who are against this whole cleaning up Earth deal. Um, so basically, Jack has to figure out who he can trust, why certain people are lying to him, um, and why basically why his employer is not informing him of why these people are there still, and why he has to recruit all this stuff. And so basically, it's a story of a man trying to figure out who he can trust and why things are the way they are. Um, like I mentioned before, it's like in a post-apocalyptic future where this big war happened. So Oblivion, you guys, for the most part, the sci-fi visuals in this were very good. No complaints visually. I really like the visuals of this film. If you like Tron Legacy, it's kind of like that in the sense where like every single visual of the film is spot on perfect. It's quite clear that Joseph Kosinski knows how to make a good visual sci-fi movie. The musical score is very good in this. Unfortunately, it is not done by Daft Punk, who did Tron Legacy. It's a different band. M83, I think their name is. I'm not 100% certain on that one. But they did the musical score in this. Very fitting, very edgy. It definitely fit the mood and theme of the film very well. Um, there's a lot of explanations, discussions, and ideas of the film, of what it's like to be human, kind of what's the beauty of being human, like what are some of the advantages, what are some things to always look forward to in every life you live, what can everyone look forward to in their lives. There's a lot of discussions in this film where that happens, and I'm really glad that happened because I think those discussions are very interesting, and to tell you the truth, I would have liked to have seen even more of them because they were so interesting. The Tom Cruise character and the Olga Kurylenko character have a few of those quite a bit in the film. Um, like I said, she has a big significance. There's a reason why they always talk about that kind of stuff, but very interesting whenever that happens. Um, Tom Cruise and the ladies he spends times with, that means Olga Kurylenko and the woman that he's always communicating with whenever he's cleaning up Earth. I thought the development he had between those two lady characters were very interesting, both when he was on the ship, back when he was at his station before going off to Earth again, and the chemistry he had with Olga Kurylenko was very interesting. The vehicles and the technology in this film were very awesome. Tom Cruise gets to ride like a motorbike in this. He has like these little droid things that he reports to, and they kind of destroy things that aren't meant to be on Earth. They kind of analyze him to make sure that he's Jack Harper, the person who's supposed to be on Earth cleaning things up. There's a trigger thing that goes off, and he gets cleared, and they fly by whenever they see Jack because they aren't supposed to kill him. They're not authorized to do that. Um, all those were very interesting. And like I said, I love the vehicle and the technology design in this film, but they were all very well done. As far as negatives go, you guys, there are a ton of elements in this film that borrow from already existing films. If you've seen Tron Legacy, if you've seen Star Wars, if you've seen Moon, if you've seen Eagle Eye, or even 2001: A Space Odyssey, you've basically have already seen this film after you've seen all those. It basically is all those films I just mentioned combined into one. Just a ton of borrowed elements, whether it's visuals, whether it's storyline, whether it's twist, whether it's you know, all of those films borrow are existing in this film. Um, so if you're looking for a film that's considered original, maybe not so much because there is so much in this film that already exists in all those films I just mentioned. Um, there's a ton of plot twists in here, you guys, and I think the film does suffer from too many plot twists. After a while, you almost begin to question what direction the film was meant to go in, because there's just a ton of plot twists, and I really think if they sat down and decided what kind of film they wanted to make, I think the film would have benefited greatly from less plot twists. Um, there was some predictable moments in here. If you've seen the trailer, if you had guesses before seeing the film of what was going to happen, more than likely you're right because there's just a ton of predictable things in this film. Really, it's really too bad because I think if they really, like I said, sat down and really thought out how the film was going to play out, I think they would have made some more mysterious, more suspenseful, more unpredictable moments if they really sat down and thought about it. The film does suffer from a weak storyline. That's I'm not the first person to complain about this. If you look up reviews, there's a ton of people complaining about the weak storyline in this film. Um, so it's not a very story heavy film, unfortunately. So it is a little bit lacking in the storyline department. Morgan Freeman is good in this film. Unfortunately, he does feel underused. He only gets about probably less than 10 minutes of screen time, I would say. Um, and on the scenes where he is in the film, he's obviously very good as he normally is. But I would have liked to see more of his character. Not going to spoil anything, but he is significant. There is a significance to the character existing in this film. Once again, another reason why I really think he should have been in the story more often. Um, there was a lot of forced and material that doesn't work content in this film. Just a lot of things they cheated with that just to make the storyline work, specifically near the end. That's another thing you'll hear a lot of complaints about is the ending of this film is a little forced. It is a little it doesn't really work that well when you really think it through. I understand why they did it, but I really would have preferred a different ending to this film. Just a lot of forced material, like I said, that really didn't work in here. But overall, guys, I give Oblivion a 7.5 out of 10. It's a great visual film. The musical score is great. A lot of interesting discussions in the film. The vehicles and the technology looked interesting and were interesting in the film. But unfortunately, the film does suffer from too many plot twists. A lot of plot twists that are predictable and quite frankly don't really work that well. An underused Morgan Freeman and some material that just doesn't work. So overall, like I said, 7.5 out of 10. An okay film. Quite frankly, from me, I would say either rent it from Redbox or if it goes to Netflix after its release, see it there. You don't have to go see it in the theater. I don't really think it's that big of a film. Uh, if there's anything worth remembering for Oblivion, it's its visuals. The visuals I think were very good and what people I think are going to remember the film for. Um, so Oblivion, it's an okay film. I would rent it. I wouldn't go see it in the theater. I wouldn't buy it. Uh, if you can rent it, do it. More than likely, this is probably going to be a film that you're probably only going to want to experience once.